West Virginia governor made a big stink recently when he announced his plans to veto the West Virginia budget bill passed recently by the West Virginia House of Delegates. At a news conference, he equated signing the budget bill to signing a death certificate for the state of West Virginia. He breaks down his reasons for vetoing the bill and all the measures and initiatives that it would impact. He continued the press conference with a passionate speech where he verbally flogs lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. He said of the Republicans that they passed the bill and then spent the weekend calling him, asking him to veto it. I'll have a link to those videos below. He said they did so they could say they didn't have anything to do with raising taxes if after the veto measures were included that would raise taxes, they could say their hands were clean of that. He goes into more detail in an interview on West Virginia Tonight, which I will post in the description below. He said over the weekend that the president of the Senate, Mitch Carmichael, a Republican representing Jackson County, had agreed with us on a plan to go forward with something. He just alludes that it was something that was an unbelievable opportunity. He said that it would be able to include tax reform and move forward in a way that was great beyond belief. Our governor is probably not the most eloquent speaker, so I'm going to quote him verbatim here, but we wouldn't have to cut into anything. He goes on to say, from a Democratic standpoint, we would have gotten everything we wanted. And from a Republican standpoint, would have got tax reform that they wanted. It was the greatest deal in the history of the world, he said in the press conference in Charleston, and Democrats refused to vote for it. He claimed that because they didn't want Republicans to have a win on tax reform. He compared them to high school students and goes on talking about a hypothetical Betty Lou walking down the school hallways. At this point in the press conference, he reveals how he feels about this budget bill, and he goes through this scenario where he brings out 3 plates that are covered. Then he goes through one by one. One is a nothing burger, one is a mayonnaise sandwich, and the last one is a pile of bull you know what. It got some laughs, it got some applause from those who were present at the press conference. On an interview on West Virginia Tonight, I was trying to get more clues about what Mitch Carmichael was pushing for. What was this amazing plan that never came to fruition? We might see more of that in weeks to come, but so far I haven't been able to find anything. If you find anything about this, please comment in the comment section below. I'd like to know if you find any stories. I would really like to know what the Democrats' response to this is. And I would like to know more about Mitch Carmichael's plan. If you hear anything, let me know. Mitch gets it, he said in the interview, and the two of us could work this out in 5 minutes. Mitch Carmichael supports tax reform, lowers state income tax, and puts us on a path to getting rid of our state income tax, which is something that Justice has been pushing for, and apparently Mitch Carmichael's pushing for. Is that part of that amazing deal that they were proposing? It sounds like it. Armstead, he says, has a long way to go. So he has a difficult time working with Armstead, according to Jim Justice, and he mentions that in that interview. If you're a West Virginia resident, now's the time to give your feedback about this, to contact your local representatives, and I'll put information in the description. You can call House Speaker Armstead and Senate President Carmichael and let them know if you do or do not support the budget cuts that they proposed in this previous bill, or if you support them working toward passing a budget that eliminates harsh cuts and raises revenues, which I think most West Virginians would support, because the things that were cut in that bill, I don't think it's so much hyperbole that it would be a death certificate for our state. It seemed that it would be very detrimental to our state. So, what do you think about that? And what do you think about the way the governor made his point? Was that political theater? Possibly it was, but while he's doing it, he's like, "No, we need to stop playing politics and playing these games." But kind of seemed like a game itself. Um, but it certainly made a point, I guess. So let me know. I've seen some mixed reactions online, everything ranging from this is embarrassing to praising the governor for being clever. I want to hear your thoughts, so again, comment below. And finally, what do you think about Senator Carmichael's proposed greatest deal in history? Do you think that's tax reform? What do you think about, you know, tax reform for the state, getting rid of our state income tax? What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and please share.